Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm taking a look at New York's first indoor shopping mall. This is the Walt Whitman Shops in Huntington Station, New York. This mall opened in 1962 as the Walt Whitman Center, but by the 1970s the mall's name had been changed to Walt Whitman Mall. And as you might have guessed, the mall was named after the famous American poet Walt Whitman, as he was born not too far from here. How Walt Whitman would have felt about having a mall named after him, though, I'm honestly not sure. But now come along with me and let's see how we feel about this mall. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs and of course flea markets. And if you really want to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon, which is also called Flea Bitten Adventures. Thanks. The mall was built by the Winston Musk Corporation at the cost of about $20 million, which works out to roughly $106 million today, and was initially planned to be an open-air mall like most of the other malls at the time. But after construction began, the design was changed to make it a fully enclosed mall. I'm not sure what spurred them to make that change, but I think it was the right decision. The original anchor stores were Abraham & Straus, Macy's, and McCrory's. It also had a movie theater called the Whitman Theater, which opened in 1963. Here's the Bloomingdale's. This is where the original anchor store Macy's was located from 1962 until 1996. The Macy's moved to the old Abraham & Straus location at the other end of the mall in 1995 when the two companies merged. So for a short period of time, between 1995 and 1996, the mall actually had two Macy's locations. However, the Macy's in this spot closed in 1996, and the Bloomingdale's moved in 1998. From what I've read, when the mall first opened, it had a Japanese garden, 4 modern art mobiles based on the poetry of Walt Whitman, as well as an aviary. Sadly, I wasn't able to find any pictures of those original design features. However, I was able to find these pictures here, which I believe were taken in the early 60s. And this one where you see the picture of the water fountain, I think that was taken pretty much right where I'm standing now. The mall was originally owned by Winston Musk Corporation, but was sold to N.K. Winston Inc. in 1973, and then Corporate Property Investors, CPI, in 1975. The mall was then finally sold to its current owner, Simon Property Group, which was Simon DiBartolo Group at the time, in 1998. The mall has had a few renovations and expansions over the last 60 plus years, but the overall layout of the mall today is very similar to when it first opened. Between roughly 1998 and 2000, the mall's current owner, Simon, completed an $85 million renovation, which added new marble floor tiles, skylights, vaulted ceilings, a glass dome center court, new advertising displays, and 32 new stores. They also had Walt Whitman's poem Leaves of Grass etched on the outside of the building, roughly where Walt Whitman's statue is today. The Lord & Taylor, Saks Fifth Avenue, and the parking garage were also added during that time. As a result of the renovation and the mall's new owner, sales at the mall increased by about 18%, which put the mall ahead of the national average for sales per square foot at the time. The next major renovation to the mall was completed between 2012 and 2013. That renovation, which is responsible for the mall's current look, added about 30 new stores, slightly expanded the mall, and added the bronze statue of Walt Whitman in front of the mall. They also renamed the mall to the current Walt Whitman Shops. On a sad note though, this mall has had its fair share of tragedies. Right now we're passing roughly where the Lamarck's Party and Gift Store was located. Lamarck's was the source of a major fire in 1984 which destroyed 7 stores and damaged 25 others, and also led to a partial collapse of the roof. The cause of the fire was determined to be an electrical malfunction, and luckily there were only 13 minor injuries reported. Now coming up on the right, this hallway leading up to the Saks Fifth Avenue is approximately where the McCrory's was located from 1962 until it closed in 1991 after a massive fire that killed 2 employees and injured 36 others. The fire was actually the 4th at the McCrory's over a 6-month period, and in 1993 a worker at the McCrory's pled guilty to throwing a lit cigarette into a display of silk flowers, which started the deadly fire. Luckily, the mall was able to make a full recovery from both of these fires. This Saks Fifth Avenue was added in 1999. From what I can gather, this mall has been largely successful for its entire life. I wasn't able to find any indication online that this mall has ever been considered dead or dying. And today, as I think you can see, the mall appears to be doing quite well. And I think that's at least partially due to the fact that the mall is owned by Simon. While Simon malls do tend to look rather sterile in general, they are well maintained, and Simon does seem to put quite a bit of money into them, unlike some other mall owners out there who will remain nameless. Now, I know there are some Simon malls out there that aren't doing nearly as well as this mall, but I would say in general, most of the Simon malls are doing well, at least the ones that I've been to. But of course, let me know what you think about that in the comments. And also, if this is your local mall, let me know what used to be in some of these stores here. I know what was in the big stores and the anchors, but the smaller ones, I'm not so sure. Kind of like this lighting feature here, or chandelier, whatever you want to call it. It's trying to look old-fashioned, but modern at the same time. It's interesting. I also really like the clocks on the tonneau here. Kind of reminds me of an old airport. Like something out of the 50s or 60s. And of course, no mall would be complete without a Bath and Body Works. Coming up on the right, it looks like they're opening an American Eagle and a garage next to it. This was filmed about a month ago, so I'm not sure if these stores have opened up yet, but if they have, let me know in the comments. So this is where the original anchor store Abraham and Straus was located from 1962 until it was rebranded as the mall's second Macy's in 1995. The other Macy's, the original Macy's, closed in 96, leaving this as the mall's only Macy's. And then straight ahead, as you can probably tell based on the marble, this is where the Lord & Taylor was located from 1998 until the entire chain went out of business in 2020. And from what I've read, they are currently planning to replace the Lord & Taylor with a medical office complex of some sort. Here's something I don't see too often anymore, a Hallmark Gold Crown store. Most of these have been rebranded as the Paper Store, and this one does say in the bottom left that it is the Paper Store, but most of the paper stores that I see don't have the big Hallmark Gold Crown sign out front, so that's a little bit different, at least in my experience. Now, the reason I came in here was I was actually looking to see if they had any of the Star Wars or Star Trek ornaments from Christmas left over, But unfortunately, all they had left was one Star Wars A-Wing fighter, which I already have, and then some figures like Luke and I think Ahsoka, but none of the big ships that I was looking for. I'm not sure what stores are going to be going in here on the right. This one does say Victoria's Secret, but coming up ahead and to the left, there's already a Victoria's Secret store, so I don't know if Victoria's Secret is going to be moving to that store on the right, or if they just have that up as an ad and something entirely different is going to go in there. Because it also says Alo, ALO, is coming in 2025 as well, so I don't know if Alo and Victoria's Secret are going in there, or just Alo. I'm not sure. And on the right, it says that Mavi is going in there in the fall of 2025. And I assume it's pronounced Mavi. I've actually never heard of that store before. And then on the right, this Apple store opened in 2003, which would make it a fairly early Apple store because I think the first Apple store opened in 2001. Alright, so there's the inside of the mall, but don't go anywhere yet. Next we're going to do a drive around of the mall and see what it looks like from the outside. Alright, and here's the Best Buy, which is technically part of the mall, but it's not physically attached. And then this is the old Lord & Taylor. And as usual, Lord & Taylor has not taken their signs down yet. You know, if that were a Sears or a Macy's or some other major store that had gone out of business, odds are they would have taken the signs down by now, but for whatever reason, Lord & Taylor seems to leave theirs up. Coming up is the Walt Whitman statue, which was added between 2012 and 2013. Here's the Bloomingdale's, which, as I mentioned, was the original Macy's up until 1996. This section of the mall here is not physically attached to the mall. It was added, I believe, sometime in the late 2000s or so. And this is the location of where the Whitman Theater used to be located. I'm not entirely sure when the Whitman Theater was demolished, but based on Google Earth maps from overhead, it looks like in 2007 there was construction here. So I don't know if that construction was them demolishing the theater or building what's here today. It wasn't entirely clear. So again, if anybody knows, please let me know in the comments. And then here's the Saks Fifth Avenue, which was built in 1999. And before that, like I mentioned, this was the location of the McCrory's up until about 1991. And then here's the current day Macy's. which was originally Abraham and Straus up until 1995. And also, based on some old maps of the mall, there apparently used to be a Hills grocery store pretty much where this parking garage is today. I'm not sure when that got torn down though, but that parking garage was added, I believe, in 1998, 1999. And then I just had to drive by this. This is Dino Safari. It looked like a light display with dinosaurs, and I don't know what it was exactly. I guess you drive through it, and it looks like something you'd probably do at night. But yeah, I've never seen one of those before. And we're back to the old Lord & Taylor. And there you have it. That is the Walt Whitman Shops in Huntington Station, New York. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs, flea market videos, and who knows what else. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.